Hello, and welcome to my regular Friday evening. I am Rachel of Rachel's Reiki, Healing and Beyond. I am a teacher, modern mystic, healer, and author. So if you're watching, hi, please say hi and let me know that you're here. I'm tuned into both hopefully Facebook via StreamYard and also Insta. So just doubling up here. So hopefully you guys, hi Susie. So let me know if you're here. Let me know you've switched on. I'd love to hear your thoughts as we're going through. So the way this evening works is different. Hey Claire, it's very different to the webinar that I did last Friday. And the webinar I did last Friday was I don't know, because I'm already starting to channel, so they've like blocked my brain off. But I did a live last Friday, which is available for catch up on Facebook and on YouTube, and that's like a set thing. When I did, hey Joe, hey Sandra, hey Debbie, when I do these evenings, it's channeled. So I don't quite know what I'm going to get through or who we're going to get through. It was made clear to me earlier this week that I'm going to be getting through somebody who I've had in association with the Banshee is going to be coming through, who is a masculine energy, some of the Celtic Irish masculine energy. Hayley, that's as much as I kind of know. I'll probably have other people coming through. So it's not necessarily, if you've got questions, please ask them. Whether or not they get answered is another thing. I will not be looking at the screen. If anyone's had a reading with me, they'll know that I just stare up into some space, which is where I'm getting my information from. So I won't be looking at the screen, and I'm not being rude. It is, sorry, Insta people, it is just the way that I work. I'm also not a great big huge drama person, so you're not going to get like me doing weird voices or anything like that. That takes an awful lot of energy, and I don't kind of need to do it. So I just allow my ego to set to one side. That's me setting the intent, and what I instead allow to step forward is the person that I'm going to work with, who's very keen to have a chat. So the person who I've got working with me is somebody who came through. If anyone's been following a new series of blogs that I'm doing, it's somebody called The Piper, and he came through in some of the channeled writing that I did the other week. So it's really interesting that he hello, and the tiger from Norway. Oh my gosh, I love that. Claire's just asked, just as long as I'm not like, don't do a Whoopi Goldberg. Do you know what? If you're in danger, girl, then you're in danger. That's my Whoopi quote. This particular figure is he came through with the Banshee the other week when I did some channeled writing, and he is a really balanced masculine figure. He's the Piper, and I've done some research on him as a mythological figure. Dallas, Texas. Oh, hello. As a mythological figure, there's only a couple of stories about him, but he presents quite differently to the way he comes through in kind of like these later, probably Christianized tales. He plays a pipe, but it's not a bagpipe. It is a pipe, and almost like that Piper energy, but there isn't that other side to him. He's quite a balanced figure. And I think it's really important. I do a huge amount of work with feminine figures. And he's just beautiful. Sorry, I'm just kind of half connecting in with him. He's a really beautiful figure who is really quite balanced. I do a lot of work with women, and what he's saying is that he really wanted to step forward this evening because I do a lot of work with women, and he would like to talk as a balanced male individual and as a balanced male energy. And his energy is really, really warm and hot. It's lovely, actually. It feels like getting into a bath. Okay. I am a storyteller. Did anyone used to watch his program? He's singing to me, I am a storyteller and my story must be told. He's a storyteller. He tells people stories, but he's showing me a lot, and he's showing me that he doesn't tell them with words. He tells them with music, and he plays the sound of people's souls. And he comes in on that sound healing vibration where, you know, when you watch somebody and they've kind of taken it to church on the TV, and you're like, oh my God, this is just X Factor, but I'm crying my eyes out at it. That's the vibration that he comes on, where he really pushes that connection into your soul, and moving stuff from your soul that you don't even know is there. He's talking about playing to hidden tunes, the tunes we hide within ourselves. Those are the tunes that I find, and those are the tunes that I play. You lie to yourself so much about your pain and your suffering, and that's kind and gracious of you, but you don't need to do that. I'm here to help relieve you of that pain. I'm here to love you. There is so much that you are all holding on to, and this is the time to release it. This is the time to let go. And he's saying, not just you, but in spirit, there's so much that they need to let go of. He's got so many tunes to play, but they haven't been heard, and he needs to be listened to, and he needs to be heard and needs to be listened to. I haven't been heard for such a long time, and it's gracious, this invitation this evening. I haven't been heard, and I need to play. I need to play, and I need to be heard. And those two things are important. If I play and nobody hears, and if I'm heard but I'm not playing, I play to your soul. Invite me into your homes, and I will play the music that needs to be played. I can see like a funerary service, and I can see just those moments when people are sat in mourning, or sat after a great trauma, and everything's kind of like silent and eerie. And he's saying it's in those moments that I play, it's in those moments that I heal, it's in those moments when I draw you together, and I play the music. But you must play music. You must play my music. You must play music. The music that moves your soul is a healer, and you will heal yourselves. But you must listen, otherwise I cannot play to you. My tunes come through in everything. My tunes come through in all. Those that have the ear, those that have the gift, play. They play, and they play my message, and they play my song, and it is heard and it is loved by all, and you hear it. But you must listen. You must continue to listen. For when I've first given myself to you, you must continue. Do not shy away from the music. Do not shy away from the pain. When you feel the pain, that's you being relieved and you being healed. Do not shy away from it. That is what I am here to heal. Feel the pain. Let it go. Let it move, flow, and I can feel his energy coming up from my heart, up into my higher heart, out of my throat, out of my mouth. I can feel how he shifts the energy. When you sing yourself, you feel my vibration, you feel my heart. And when you listen, you hear my song. Never forget that there is beauty in all emotions. Those emotions that are painful, that pain you, they are the most beautiful of all. For without them, we would not be human. Without them, you would just be an empty shell that felt nothing. An empty shell is all that is left sometimes. And I have to play that back into existence. I have to play that shell back into life. I have to breathe life into that shell. But you must allow me to do it. There are often times when I come to see you and you do not hear my tune and you do not hear my song, and I go away empty-handed. Your pain is mine to take. Give it to me. And I really feel like he's talking to a lot of empaths here. Stop holding it. Stop holding it. It's not yours to hold. What made you think it was yours to hold? It was yours to take away, and it's mine to do the same. There's nothing here but love. Pain is love. Injury is love. Burden is love. It is all love. And I am here to love. So let me take your pain. Let me take your burden. Let me take your injury. For there is nothing without this exchange. Without this exchange, we are not human. I am a soul just the same as anyone else. I am a soul who has been here time and time again, and I will continue to be. And my task, my soul, yearns to be heard, yearns to tell your tales. Just invite me in. Just invite me in. Just be aware. I am not loud. I am not brash. I come hidden in the most beautiful sounds. For this is true love. True love is not loud. True love is not brash. True love does not burden, it takes away. True love holds up and reveres and respects and uplifts. There is nothing without true love. And we give it unconditionally, but we also receive it unconditionally. And that's the key. That's the key, is receiving that love unconditionally. Allow yourself to receive that love. If you can't receive it from me, how are you going to receive it from anyone else? If you can't allow me to unburden you, how will you be unburdened for anyone else? When you are burden free, then you can love wholly. So love wholly. Unburden yourself. Unburden yourselves to loved ones. Unburden yourself to me. For they will unburden themselves in return, as that's how it works. This is how the universe works, is this exchange. This is our connection. This is our human connection. A human connection which you're being reminded of. Does it take this to remind you that you need to be close to other people? That you yearn for that you want it? That your freedom is that important and you haven't fought for it? That you've just allowed yourselves to walk numbly through life? Being numbed by television, social media, being numbed by these things. Let me bring life to you. Consume only that which brings life to you. The music, the magic, the joy, they bring life. They bring life. Music is my heart and my soul. And so this is what I give to you. And this is what I give to many, so that they may unburden your souls through my sound, through my song. And you hear my sound and you hear my song and you are burden free. Never stop loving me. Never stop loving each other and yourselves. There is not much more to say than that. That's a nice closing. Okay, thank you. So he's made me, I don't really want to apologise for crying, but he's filled me with a lot of emotion. That was really beautiful, like a really beautiful connection. I've had him around a lot from time to time. I've realised since I've made a proper connection with him over the years. And he's such a nice figure to have. He's not loud, he's not in your face, he's just sort of sat there, just holding space for you, holding space. And really that was that whole thing about the more we hold space for each other, the more we allow space to be held for ourselves. That's how it works. If as empaths we don't allow ourselves to be healed, if as empaths we don't allow ourselves to kind of feel that, if we don't allow that exchange to happen, if we don't unburden ourselves to loved ones and go, actually, I don't want to bother them with that. Like, that's the team, they're going through a lot at the moment. I don't want to say what's going on with me. Like, I'm just as guilty of that as anyone else. You know, and it's a habit I've been untraining myself from for a very long time, because it feels very unnatural. But if I can't do that, how can I expect to love somebody fully? How can I expect them to be close if I don't let them see me, see everything, see the stuff that I'm struggling with, as well as the stuff that I find joy in? And the tiger has said that I'm open and receptive. That's beautiful. Just going to quickly check Facebook. Hey Tracy, it's really interesting, Claire. Claire, I know, listens a lot to music and finds a lot of healing and messages through music, and I'm sure, and let me know if you guys do too, that sometimes just the right song will come on the radio at the right time with the right words, and you'll be like, okay, thanks guys, like I needed that reminder. And it's a really simple way to receive that communication, but we just need to be open with it. If you do want to work with the Piper, again, he very strongly comes in the empath, healer, sensitive vibration. Just call him in. I would put on some music that makes you feel emotional. For me, it is Time to Say Goodbye, and there's a can't remember the female singer's name, but her first name is Sarah. And is it the other singer, the Italian singer? Is that, like, I'm rubbish with names, I'm so sorry. And you get a lot of music messages through music as well. Yeah. So if you want to call them in, choose some music that like will make you cry. Like, I can guarantee that every time I listen to Time to Say Goodbye, Sarah Brightman, thank you, Claire. It makes me like cry. And I remember going to Las Vegas, and outside one of the hotels, like some dreadful names, one of the hotels is that magical water and music display, and one of them was Time to Say Goodbye, and I literally bawled my eyes out, just stood there like some lunatic on my honeymoon, just go, oh, it's so amazing. But we have to let ourselves feel that pain. As empaths and healers, and even as human beings, if you've got any empath children or any autistic children, we absorb so much. We're so sensitive that we absorb stuff we don't even realize. If we don't take that time just to allow ourselves to cry and to release it, and we don't know where the hell it's come from. I'm sure any of you who do Reiki healing or any other type of healing with other people, sometimes people will just cry. I remember when I first did it on my husband, and he was going, I don't know why I'm crying. Years of toxic masculinity where you've not been allowed to cry, pouring out of your eyeballs. That's how it works. It's got to come out of us. It's got to come out. And our bodies, and I talk about this a lot in my book, The Banshee, is our body's natural abilities are there, and one of our body's natural abilities is to cry the emotion out. If we don't allow ourselves to cry, even as women we do it, you know, you try not to cry in front of your children and things like that, and it's not always helpful, because you're not showing them that it's okay to fall apart at times. It's okay that something dreadful has happened, and actually it's really, really hurt you, because when you show them how you break apart, you show them how you put yourself back together again, even if it's messy and takes ages. You're giving them life skills when you show them the pain, when you show them how it looks to be broken. You show them how to heal themselves, and those are massively essential tools for us to pass on to our children. And that's the vibration he comes in on. He comes in on that vibration where, you know, we should be crying, where he wants more men to cry, to show their emotion, to connect in with that emotion. What he's just let me know is that when we don't cry, we're not connecting into our emotion. We're actually still keeping it at bay. We're kind of pushing it away from ourselves. When we really connect into that emotion and allow ourselves to cry, in the same way when we allow ourselves to feel really strong joy and laugh, we're really connecting into that emotion properly. So he's talking about laughter and joy being those two expressions of physical expressions of emotions. It's what our body does. Like, don't fight it. Maka says she cries. Oh, he cries a lot, but it's not because I'm unhappy. He just feels the pain of others. Yeah, emotions about, absolutely. I get it. I'll be watching stuff on TV and I'll do the same thing. Absolutely, I feel it. And it's what's really amazing is the more we bring through these next generations and these current generations of men who can connect into their emotions and can cry, and the more we support them in that, the easier it's going to be for the next ones that come along. And I've seen some really beautiful shifts. Like, you know, I'm 40 now, and some of the stuff that I'm doing, or some of the stuff that women of my generation or men of my generation are doing, the youngsters are doing at 18, 19, 20, 21. And I'm like, oh my God, it is moving forward. Like, I can see the progression where they're looking at their emotions, where they're looking at themselves, where they're looking at that connection. Don't get me wrong, it is not perfect. We are not perfect. It is just a case of us getting ourselves there. And I can tell you that I really strongly feel that we are getting ourselves there. Debbie has just said she had that at a funeral. I can't quite say, oh, mum's funeral. Honestly, it's one of my favorite songs. And Claire's just said that music is proper emotional release. Classical operatic music is great. It really is. I love soul music. I love anything which really moves me. And that will be why I'm gently healing myself with stuff that I don't even know that I'm holding on to. Those times when you've been told to hold back tears, or you've held back tears. And I know from healing how on a regular basis people go, I feel a lot of stuff, or, you know, I'll pick up on, there's a death, I think it's around your dad or your mum or whoever, and I don't think that that's been processed. And they've said, no, I never cried. I was the strong one. I was the one that organised the funeral. I was the one that did this, that and the other, and I haven't dealt with it. So those times when you don't know why you're crying, let it out. Like, just get it out and get rid of it. We can do a hell of a lot more healing than we realise when we sort of connect into music. That's the message that he's got, is like, you know, teach your sons, teach your children, and listen to the music, listen to me play, and I will heal you. Many cultures don't accept boys crying. It's interesting. It's really interesting where it comes out in different places. And I will say, as somebody who is both of British and Irish extraction, that we're particularly bad at it in both cultures. Like, men need to be strong, and I think particularly the Irish have probably been through so much in their more recent history that you had to be strong to survive, and that was seen as being strong. And up until, you know, actually showing weakness, it's a very animalistic thing that you don't want to show weakness. And actually we're moving past that. We're moving past those really primal instincts. It's part of our devolution, actually, where we don't have to be in that sort of survival mode. We're moving from that sort of out of survival mode where the thought of crying is seen as weakness. And of course it's not. We know it's not. We know that it's actually, you need to, strong people tend to cry more because you bear a greater burden in current society. And I think that's kind of changing, fingers crossed. Yeah, and the anger, absolutely. Anne's talking about the ticking time bombs. Yeah, where, you know, most men, unfortunately, when they suffer depression, they don't talk about it. It comes out as anger. And that's just to do with the way that I'm a great believer that masculine and feminine energy, you know, is present, probably quite balanced within each of us. And I'm really not a believer in women having to fall into this fragile weeping willow, toxic femininity, and men having to fall into this strong, I shall be your savior and I shall be your hero, toxic masculine energy. Because obviously the real extreme of that is that I won't cry and I won't, you know, do any, and, you know, I will protect you, and it ends up being coveting and suffocating. So I think it's really interesting how that happens. That's a fact, that unfortunately when men end up expressing their depression, it ends up coming through as anger, and that's a sign to watch out for in loved ones as well, in case anyone needs that. Claire said, when you don't know why you're crying, you kind of explain yourself, I don't know why, and like you need to apologize. Yeah, absolutely. And we need to stop kind of apologizing for crying. Yeah, and it's something that I got my head around at quite a young age, because I was criticized a lot for crying because I cried so much, and I just felt things so deeply, and they kind of spilled up out of me. So it was something I got my head around quite young, and I kind of stood in the power of that. That's one of the first things I stood more in the power of. And actually what I found was, the more I accepted that I was somebody who cried easily, and that actually that's okay. Like, why wouldn't I want to express emotion? That, you know, it's surely there's something slightly wrong if I don't want to express emotion. When I decided that and stood in the power of that, it actually enabled me. I stopped crying as much because I totally accepted that, and I wasn't holding the stuff in. I was crying as and when I needed to. Narcissism, codependency, toxic feminine. Yeah, absolutely, the codependency. Completely. I shared a post earlier on today on Insta, actually, Anne, about some of the narcissistic tendencies which are coming through and being labelled now in clinical work, which is stuff that a lot of us have been doing work around for a few years, on the woo-woo side of therapy, about people sitting in victimhood and using that as a tool, and using that as manipulation, and using that as a way from which to sort of gain traction, or simply, sadly, to live their lives. And that's been understood more and more now, which is really interesting, but absolutely comes in on what you're talking about there, Anne. Debbie said she's noticed hearing a lot of songs on the radio that mention angels in them recently. Totally. So it's absolutely, and Claire said, yeah, it's a message. Absolutely. It's those messages that come through that are really important. There's certain songs that come on, and I'll know that one of my uncles will be stood in the kitchen, probably having a fag or whatever, because that song's come on. I know that they're about. Okay, I'm just going to check and see if there's anybody else in the room, and I'm pretty sure there is, but I can't quite. Oh, really? Okay. I've got Mary Magdalene here again, who was here a couple of weeks ago. I've done I work a huge amount with Mary. I have done, like, I want to say, somebody who's had a Catholic upbringing, Jesus was my original guide on my spiritual journey, and Mary Magdalene was the person who helped me question it, and her journey and her story through my teens. She absolutely helped me question that. I obviously wasn't aware of, like, the spiritual connection, but wanting this need to know about her story and understand her story and talk about her story within my rebellious Irish family, who'd broken through receiving abuse themselves, broken their relationship down with the church as much. Anna said, feeling is accepting all spectrums of self. Absolutely, absolutely. And I think it's very easy for spiritual people to say, I shouldn't feel like that. Like, I should have the tools, as somebody who works in this field, or who's been in this field for ages, not to feel that sadness. My friend calls it the medium's curse. Like, you're supposed to just go, well, everyone's on the other side and I'll see them later. So, you know, it's all right that they're dead. Or cursing yourself because you've realised something's happened, but it's too late for you to do anything about it. And it's those things where you go, I should have known better, or I should have the tools not to feel like this. I shouldn't feel angry, and I shouldn't feel pain, and I'll just logic my way out of this, and I'll deal with it all up here in these upper chakras and these upper energy centers, and with my spiritual connection. You're not feeling it down here in the gut. You're not feeling it, and you're not living it, and you're not experiencing it. And that's how you heal, is by feeling it. So absolutely, that acceptance of self, yes, absolutely, Anne. Like, I feel anger about that, and that's okay. I do have a bit of a temper, or actually that's my passion. Yeah, I should feel angry about that. That's an injustice. I should feel annoyed about that. This is painful, and I want to lay down on the floor and I want to weep. And that's where you're going to find me for 2 or 3 days while I get this out. That's understanding that that's how you function. Absolutely, Anne. I love that. Feeling is accepting all spectrums of self. Seriously, love that. Mary, there is not much more to say, my wise children. You are here, you are working, you are feeling, you are doing. You're the ones that I speak to, and you hear and you listen and you respond. Not all of you hear my words, but you hear my voice, my sound, my yearning, my knowledge, and you act and you make changes within yourself and with others. And you are blessed, for you are doing the work. You are doing it. You are the way. You are doing the way, the truth, and the light. For those of you who know, the way is the path forward. And when you are aware of the way, you never want to turn your back on it. For there is only one way thereafter. How can you turn your back from that? It is yourself. The way is yourself. And when you find that path to your soul, when you find that path to your being, and when you are on it fully and wholly, and when you love yourself unconditionally, then you are doing. You're doing the things that you've held yourself back from. You're doing the things that you want to do for no other reason than your soul's desire. And that is beautiful. For you are all great beings. For you are all great children. For you are all champions. You are all champions. And we act and we change and we fly and we move. And we throw dirt in the face of anger. And we pick ourselves up and we move on. We move on with a mark on our cheek and a smile on our lips. We move forward. And those of you who know, this will be no surprise to you. And those of you who don't, you are nearly there. This is all about self. You are on your road back to yourself. That is all you need to understand, is this journey is for you. This is a journey of self-exploration. This is not a journey of the universe's exploration. This is a journey of your personal exploration. Never forget that. Never forget that you are one with the universe. And just by you being, the universe gains and the universe lands. Don't do it for others, do it for you. Do it because it makes you smile and it makes you happy and it brings you joy in your heart. That graceful joy, that beauty of soul. There is nothing better than that feeling when you connect. Nothing better than that feeling when you know. Be sure of yourselves. Be sure of yourselves. Accept no excuses. Want what you need for yourself. Need what you want for others. And always know the truth. And the truth is that you will never be alone. For we walk the path with you and we push you in the right direction and you will never go wrong. Every path you take was always meant to be. For it is your journey. You determine it, no one else. So the next step is always the right step. Just take the step. It may be dark at the moment, children. It may be dark and you may not be able to see for the mist and the scourge and the broken hearts. But you will be there and you will be there soon. I leave you the grace. I leave you with grace. And that's it, she stepped back. Like, I don't even have anything to say. Like, I think she said it all. I don't have anything to say. Just going to read a couple of comments. Like, I just want to wrap myself up in a warm blanket and just sit with the feeling that she's given me. And I hope some of you have picked up on that. Kara said, Mary's such an unsung hero. She didn't really mind not being noticed. she did. Like, she did. The fact that she wasn't necessarily recognized afterwards, Mary did. She did what she needed to do. She carried on even after Jesus' passing. She carried on. She carried on. Thank you, Claire. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Sarah. Anne has said, nowadays, as we break the cycle of the matrix, people have problems with accepting themselves. More trauma will come, but we will all be healed. Absolutely. I think as people realize, and as you say, the matrix, you know, where we're living and what we're doing and why we're here, as more and more people connect into that, yeah, they will need healing. And if we as healers and empaths don't step forward and take our place in the world and want to be seen and want to talk and want to sometimes argue with people, you know, people do get it wrong, and we do have like valid opinions. If we don't say the things that need to be said, we're not going to bring anyone else forward. This is our time. You know, if anyone's watched any of the other stuff that I've done, you know, Judgment Day and all of that stuff, you know, this is it. And it isn't Judgment Day that the Catholic Church put out there. This is something different. This is us. Anne has also talked about responsibility, being responsible for ourselves. This is where judgment comes in, is that actually I'm a good person and I can make good decisions, and I've done the work on myself, so my decisions are good and they are sound. And that's where the judgment comes in, is judging ourselves and judging our own decisions and really looking at ourselves. And the more we do that, and speak about that and talk about our journeys, the more others are going to be able to step forward. Claradale, Terminator. Which bit of Terminator? I love movie analogies, like that movie, like movies which are channeled. I'm loving that. Claire, which bit of Terminator? Yeah, this is our time. This is our time to be seen and to be doing as Mary did, just doing the work out there, being with people, speaking as we need to speak. Okay. Can't Judgment Day, of course. Sorry, yeah, Arnie. Without thinking. Totally. Yeah, Judgment Day is all about self-responsibility. Okay, so I need to go and ground myself in, but next week I'm going to be doing healing on Friday evening. So Friday evening UK time for anyone who is not of these shores. So please feel free to join me. This is a period of sort of like reflection. I'm reflecting back over the year. So that's the energy that I'm going to be connecting into, and connecting into that spark, because we're coming up for Yule now. We're coming up for the longest day, sort of shortest day and the longest night, connecting back into that spark and that rebirth that comes with the whole Yule period. So if you fancy joining me for next Friday evening, I am around. If you need healing or readings, I am on holiday from the beginning of next week, so I won't be available for one-to-ones, but from, I think it's the 16th of January, if you want anything done in the new year, I will be around. I am taking Christmas off. And yeah, that's it. So if you're around next Friday, do last week's webinar, which I can't remember what I did because I'm still spaced out. I really do need to go and ground in. Is on my videos. It's also on the YouTube channel. This will be uploaded onto the YouTube channel. So hi, my YouTubers. Thank you so much for joining me this evening, people. Thank you so much for your interaction and your words of support and all of that stuff. Like, thank you. Like, it means so much. And I am going to go and enjoy the rest of my Friday evening. You go off and enjoy your weekends, and don't get caught up too much in any of the Christmas / coronavirus craziness that's going on. Do you? Right. I am going to say goodbye to Facebook first.